Hey guys, welcome to lesson 1.1, and today we're going to be talking about number series. If you want to follow me along on these notes, it's on page 3 of the study guide linked in the channel description. And let's get started. So, number series is one of the topics tested in the quantitative skills section, and you'll be given 18 questions on number series. If you look at the sample questions below, this is what a number series question looks like. You'll be given a series or a sequence of numbers or letters or a mix of them, and you'll be asked what numbers come next, or you'll be asked to fill in the blank. So, unlike other topics tested on the HSPT, there's no overall directions or formula for this kind of question. It really depends based on every single question you get, and you'll see what I mean once we start answering problems. So I'm going to skip the sample questions and go to the tips. So the first tip says to look carefully at the sequence or a series because you may be lucky and spot the pattern immediately. So this is probably not likely because they are testing your ability to non-verbally reason, and this is just a little bit too simple, but they may throw in one or two easier ones into the mix. Second tip says if you're dealing with numbers or letters or a mix of them and you don't immediately see a pattern, read the series aloud. That is, actually pronounce the numbers silently inside your head. I won't have any examples of this tip in this video, but lesson 1.3 does have an example of this question. Question 1 on lesson 1.3 will have an example of this, so if you want to see what that looks like, check out that video. Next tip though says if you still do not see a pattern, look at every second number, then at every third number, and see if a pattern emerges from these. Look for repeated numbers that may be random and have no relationship to any of the other numbers in the series. So I know that was a lot of information, but we will do some sample questions and problems just so you have an idea of what you're going to see on the test. So the first one says to look at this series, what two numbers should come next? And you're given 37, 35, 33, 31, 29, 27, and 25. So we know that 37 minus 2 equals 35, 35 minus 2 equals 33, 33 minus 2 equals 31, and so on. So the common trend is that we're subtracting 2 from the first number to get the second number. So the number that comes after 25 should be 25 minus 2, which equals 23, which is option choice C. And that is the first tip. You may be lucky and spot the pattern immediately, but again, you probably won't get a lot of these easier problems. The second question is telling us, look at the series, what two numbers should come next? And we're given 10, 12, 50, 15, 17, 50, and 20. So we know that 10 plus 2 equals 12, and 15 plus 2 equals 17. So every two numbers, you're adding 2. So whichever number comes after 20 should be 20 plus 2, which equals 22. But then we have that 50 in the middle, and it seems pretty random, and that is referring to tip 3, where we have random repeated numbers that don't have relationship to any of the numbers in the series. So we know that whichever number is following 20, which we found out was 22, there should be that random recurring number, 50, right after it, which is option choice D. Now these next questions come from Varsity Tutors. They have a lot of practice problems, and I put the link on the very last page of the study guide that again is in the channel description. If you want to do more problems after this video, which I highly encourage, you can find that link in the study guide. But I will do a couple now. So this first one is saying what number should come next in this series, and we're given 2, 12, 9, 19, 16, and 26. So we know 2 plus 10 equals 12, 12 minus 3 equals 9, 9 plus 10 equals 19, 19 minus 3 equals 16, 16 plus 10 equals 26, and 26 must be subtracted by 3 to get the next number. And 26 minus 3 equals 3. So the little trick here in this problem is that we have two patterns in one series. First, we're adding 10 and then subtracting 3. So I know I kind of went through that quick, so let me just repeat that again. We're adding 10, subtracting 3. Adding 10, subtracting 3, adding 10, and then subtracting 3. So 2 patterns, 1 sequence. My answer is 23. Alrighty, what number should come next in this series? And we're given 52, 47, 48, 43, and 44. So we know that 52 minus 5 equals 47, 47 plus 1 equals 48, 48 plus 5 equals 43, 48 minus 5 equals 43, and 43 plus 1 equals 44. So this is very similar to the last problem where we see 2 patterns in one sequence. First, we subtract 5 and then add 1. Subtract 5, add 1. So 44 to the next number should be subtracting 5. 44 minus 5 equals 39. And just by the logic of a sequence, the next number should be adding 1, so it should be 39 and then 40. And then you might be wondering in the second sample question, why is this not a second pattern from 12 to 50? Why is 50 the repeating random number and not just a second pattern? Because if you subtract 50 minus 12, you get 38, and then 50 minus 17 is going to get us a different value. So there's not a same difference between 12 and 50 and 17 and 50, which means it's not a second pattern. That means 50 is that random number, like I said before. That's just a little comparison for you right there. So those two were a little difficult, but should be fairly simple for you guys. And here is the last problem for today, for this video, and it's asking what number should fill in the blank in this series. So automatically we see something a little different here because the blank is in the middle of the problem and not at the end, but it is the same methodology to find your answer, so no worries. So we see we're given 3 over 2, 2, 5 over 2, 3, blank, and 4. So 3 over 2 is also 1 and 1/2, and then we know 1 and 1/2 to 2 is just another 1/2. Then from 2 to 5 over 2, you're adding another 1/2. From 5 over 2 to 3, you're adding another 1/2. So the common trend between each is that we're adding 1/2 as we go on. So 3 plus 1/2 is going to give us 3.5, which is equivalent to 7 over 2. So there's two main tricks in this problem. One, our blank is in the middle of the problem, and two, you have to do a little bit of converting. And what do I mean by that? Well, we know our answer is 3 plus 1/2, and that equals 3 and 1/2, but none of our answer choices say 3 and 1/2. So we have to find what it is equivalent to. So there's a little bit of vocab terms you need to know for that. So you need to know what a mixed fraction is. A mixed fraction is a fraction that is greater than 1, where you will see the whole number and then the fraction. So 3 and 1/2 is a mixed fraction, so is, let's say, 34 and 3 over 5. Any number where there's a whole number followed by a fraction is called a mixed fraction. Then an improper fraction is any fraction where the numerator is larger than the denominator. So 45 over 6 is an improper fraction. Our 7 over 2 is an improper fraction. So in this problem, you kind of have to do a little bit of converting between mixed to improper fractions to find your answer. But again, it should not be too difficult for you guys. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to watch our next lesson, lesson 1.2, where we will be going over non-geometric and geometric comparisons.